very good. That's a very good. How do you avoid or how do you dodge negative energy? Well, a lot depends on what you think of it. The most important way to think of it is that nobody actually can send you bad energy. God made the universe and there is no bad energy. There's bad information. So they can send criticisms and they can send bad thoughts that go along with the energy. But the energy itself isn't bad. But what you're feeling then is the effect of the information that's carrying. As an example, because we're talking energy here, especially we're talking fireball or something like that, that's an image. That's an information image. But if you have a cell phone and somebody calls you up and they give you a compliment, and you feel good. And somebody calls you up and they give you a criticism, and you feel bad. It's the same electricity. It's the same microwaves. It's not the energy. It's the information. So, when you get that kind of an idea, when you recognize that, then you can recognize that you have the power to change the information. You have the power to ignore it if you can, but you also have the power to change it. And the most simple way, let me give you a little story to understand this, okay? In very ancient times in Hawaii, some people had a great fear of the black kahuna, you might call it, the sorcerers, okay? And they had a very great fear of their curses. In fact, people all over the world are very afraid of curses. A curse is nothing more than somebody saying bad words to you. That's it. That's all. That's it. There's nothing else. Now, in ancient Hawaii, there were other people who were part of communities and families who knew this. And they knew what to do. So, here's what they would do as an example. A sorcerer, and usually they were paid by somebody, a sorcerer would come up and say, "I curse your taro, may it wither and die." And the peasant would look up and smile and say, "Well, I bless my taro, may it live and prosper." I'm done. No more effect. A blessing neutralizes the curse. Very simple. When somebody sends something that can be interpreted as a fireball of bad energy, or that's the way it's called, or gives criticism or even a curse, all it takes is a blessing. And it's gone, it's neutralized, it has no more power. If more people would know this, we would have so much less fear. But there's nothing special about those negative things. The only thing, this is why I say, if you can turn it around into a blessing of whatever's being cursed or being criticized, then your energy changes. But if you try to resist it and fear it, you give it more power.
How about fighting it?
No, not a good idea. The problem with fighting it is they tend to fight back. See? So that's not the way to do it. Trying to put up a wall puts a barrier between you and life. Because the only way you can do that, the only way your body knows how to do that is tighten up your muscles. So you feel less. And you breathe less. And you have fewer good emotions. Not a good solution.
But you can manipulate it by still breathing.
By what?
You can manipulate it even if there's negative and you're, let's say, throwing that negative.
Well, let me tell you why that doesn't work very good. The reason it doesn't work very good is because every negative thought you have affects you first. Your own subconscious or your own spirit is hearing everything you say and taking it personally. So when you send something negative back out to somebody, it's hurting you first. Parts of your body tighten up, parts of your mind shut down. I lived in Africa for a long time, where they had the most powerful sorcerers in the world. So powerful that they were too smart to do this. They never sent negative stuff to somebody. They sent a messenger to tell somebody that negative stuff was being sent to them. But they didn't sit down and think it out. They were brilliant, okay? So, but still, even there, the blessing would overdo it. But we had a saying in West Africa because the apprentices weren't so smart. And so we'd say you never really see a black magician. You never see an old black magician. They just look old. And that's from concentrating on all that negativity. It works on them first. See? And it's the same thing anywhere in the world. So you don't want to get into fighting it or sending it back. Not a good idea.
So this so-called what they call ana,
Yes.
praying to death or wishing bad thoughts
Right.
on people and stuff. If you give I feel or these things coming towards me like the tarot thing or maybe
Sure.
fall off the surfboard or whatever the case may be.
Right.
And and they say nice things sometimes and I don't give up on them. But should I just ignore them completely and cut them?
No, like I said,
I mean, I bless them, I do that, but I don't.
you don't bless them.
They say, why is you ignoring me? So
Okay, no. Here's what you do. When you bless, you must understand, Hawaiian point of view, the word is maikai. And we do ho'o maikai or ho'opo maikai. And what this means is to strengthen something good. That's what it means. So these cursing kinds of things are trying to weaken something good.
Oh.
So the thing that heals is to strengthen something good. That's why the peasant said, the taro farmer said, I bless my crops. May they grow and prosper. You fall off a surfboard, what's the big deal of falling off the surfboard? Say, boy, I sure fell off that surfboard good. And bless my ability to get back on.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Yeah.
Also, it's your energy in your words and how you speak it.
Sure, that has a lot of effect. And the first effect is on you. Because you're saying it. It's coming from inside your body first. So if you can say good things with a lot of enthusiasm, wow, you are really charging up the good stuff. Yes.
And if it's true, there isn't negative. There's only love. There's only good.
Well, that's a nice mystical concept.
Well, but her words were this fireball that's coming at you.
Careful, I'm saying there's no bad energy.
Bad. So if it's energy, if it's just energy.
Energy
we're
is
not
energy.
saying good nor bad.
Right. But
Someone who's
there
always
can be negative information.
Yeah.
That's what we have to deal with.
But if
And
a
there can
person,
be negative behavior.
Yeah.
Right?
So
that
if a
exists.
person comes into your life, you work with them, you live with them, and everything out of their mouth is so negative. You actually could say, I'm glad this person's in my life. Because it's energy.
Yes,
You can
I give you
use.
something even better. Find something good about the person that you can bless.
Exactly.
This person is doing that, but they have really nice hair. As a matter of fact, if you know someone and you can't think of anything else whatsoever, I'm going to give you the default blessing. The default blessing.
I like that.
The default blessing is this: when you can't think of anything else, I bless the fact that every time they exhale, they're feeding the plants of the world. That's a fact. See? You're not kidding. You got it. The blessing has to be true. And that one is true. Okay? Even if their breath is bad, the plants don't care about that. They're getting the carbon dioxide. Yes.
So that might be one to use when in the direction of somebody sending negative thoughts. So if you want to help the world have less bad thinkers, you might want to help that person or persons that are jealous or angry or whatever by sending them some kind of blessing, and since you don't know
Well, like I
what's
said,
in them, you could say.
This would be a default blessing if you can't think of anything else. Okay? But if you can think of anything,
Like that.
if you can't think of anything they do that's good, why then you want to strengthen that? Even somebody who is very negative, if you can keep focusing on anything good about them, they will change. Because this is the nature of the universe. I'm giving you a great, big, deep, esoteric secret right now. Everything in the whole universe is trying to connect. And connection is the highest form of love. And everything is moving in that direction. Some people, as they grow up, learn some very strange ways to try and get connection. And they often don't work very well, but they keep using them because they don't know how to do anything else. It reminds me of an old Charlie Brown cartoon, in which the young boy, I don't know if you know the cartoon, but it's about children, and there's a young boy in there called Linus, and so he goes to school, kindergarten, for the first time. And he sees a very pretty girl, and he's telling his friend about it. Oh yeah, I saw this really pretty girl. Oh, she was so nice. And his friend said, so did you go up and talk to her? He said, no. What'd you do? I hit her. It's that kind of thing. Children may do that, right? It's the only way they can think of to make a connection, see? And sometimes people get into this kind of mode. They can't connect in a way that feels good, so they'll connect by getting attention. And they'll do crazy things to do that. All these people are hurting. They want to connect, but they don't know how. The more we can help them in the smallest ways, the better the world's going to be. And it doesn't mean you ignore what they do. You have to do whatever is appropriate for whatever is done. But at the same time, you can bless that deep inner part of them that just wants to connect. Because it's with everybody and everything.
I think it's just ignoring the bad things that they do, because you know,
Yes, see, this is not.
You find good in all that.
That's right.
To roll up the towels from one person and to wash dishes.
But we don't think in terms, yes, but don't think in terms of ignoring the bad. Think it in terms, if you can, of healing it.
Oh.
So that's a whole different thing. And when you give somebody mentally or verbally or emotionally, and they don't have to know, but if you give them the strength, something that strengthens whatever goodness they have, you're helping to heal the negative. Okay. Yes.
On the other hand, you don't have any control of that person thinks.
Absolutely, you don't.
So even if you're trying to do good,
Yes.
and this person you think is, doing okay, and then you find out it's not okay.
This is part of aloha. It's a tough part. What do you do when you're trying to help someone and it doesn't seem like they're taking it? And you don't notice any changes, doesn't seem like it's working, seems like they're rejecting any kind of help you're trying to give. You must acknowledge that we don't control other people. We cannot. It's not that we don't. We cannot. We can't control their behavior. We can't control their thinking. We can influence it.
What was that last part you said?
We can influence it. Which means by continually sending prayers for their goodness or thoughts for their goodness or blessings for their goodness, no matter what they do. I'm sending blessings to that person, they're not responding, send blessings anyway. It is hard. I'm not telling anyone that practicing this stuff is easy. It works, but it isn't always easy. Right? And part of aloha is the idea of tolerance. That's one of the hardest things. We have to do whatever we have to do to deal with the behavior and thoughts and activities around us. We can also keep looking for the good, keep blessing it, no matter what, even in the worst kinds of situations. We have that power, and it isn't easy, but we have that power. And that's one thing I hope you don't forget.